So here is the splatter brush. I've got one out of the bag already just to show you. This is what this is. So the brush itself has these heavy, kind of thick synthetic bristles. You can kind of hear them. It is a flat ferrule because I didn't want something round. I wanted it flat because I can create some different effects, and a wooden handle. And it's really, really simple to use. Now I'm going to clear this off because I want to work on my craft sheet, and I'll just show you just on a piece of craft cardstock. Now distress paint is already fluid enough that I don't have to add any water to it. If you were using a heavier body paint, you want your paint to be the consistency of distress paint, kind of like a thick ink, if you will. And you're just going to load up the bristles like that. We're going to hold this sideways so you can see that I've got kind of the skinny area pointing towards my project. And I'm just going to pull back with my fingers. You can see I'm bending, and I'm just going to start letting these go. And look at that splatter effect. How easy is that? Now, the closer I am, the more splatter I can get. Look at that. It's like the perfect little controlled splatter or spray. Now, if I pick up more paint and I hold the brush flat, so in other words, I'm not holding it sideways towards the project, I'm holding it flat, I can bunch these up, and this is going to give me kind of bigger splotches. See that? It's definitely more of bigger splotches than just that light splatter, but you can use the brush either way, however you want to use it. If you want to kind of create that light effect or that big effect. And you're going to rinse this out in between colors. That's just the easiest way to use it. You just kind of go ahead and rinse it in water. But I'm just going to set that aside just to show you. Let me wipe this off on a towel here because I just want to pick up some of that metallic really quick because I can still blend my paints with this. But I'm just going to pick this up just because in the video I want you to see the metallics because they're really cool. So you can see that when I kind of load the bristles, I'm looking at this and I'm just going to pull this back and just start flicking that. Oh, I love this metallic effect, especially for Halloween projects or anything like that. Look at that. Perfect splatter. And you really can control it because you see I'm just grabbing that and kind of just flicking a few bristles at a time. I'm not taking the whole thing back and bending it. I'm just grabbing a few bristles, but I am eventually dragging my fingers all the way through them to get the paint to splatter off all of those. So you would go ahead and clean this when you're done. Just clean this with warm water just to get the paint off of it. But I wanted to share another cool thing that you can do with this brush. So let me take paper towels, get rid of this excess paint. So I don't want to mix these next two mediums that I'm going to show you. All right, and I'm going to take this brush out of the bag. That's why I had two of them, because I don't want to clean a brush on camera. Okay, so if you are a fan of watercolor, which I am, I think many of us are, love the look of watercolor. A lot of times when I create a watercolor background, I want to create that splattery look. And usually when I take my paintbrush and I try to dip it in water and flick it, I get that big blob, all right? There you go. Splatter brush will take care of that too. So what we're going to take, here we're just going to take our liquid ink. Now this could be watercolor, and you can see how fluid that is. We're going to take a fluid ink, and we're just going to do the same exact thing. Take our bristles and pick up that ink, and this is our watercolor background. I'm just going to do the same thing. So I'm holding it that skinny side, and I'm just going to start flicking that right onto my background. And see, I just get to control where I want it. If I want more, and you'll see that the brush is designed to really hold on to that medium, so I can splatter this around, create little ones on the edge. Look how perfect that is. But here's the key. I can let this dry, but of course if I let this dry, the color's going to be pretty intense. So I'll just go in with a paper towel, and I'll start blotting some of those bigger drips. You can see right away I get that light and dark tone of that, and then I can let that dry or use a heat tool, whatever, and then I can even go back with additional colors. But that is what I love about the new Distress Splatter Brush. I can use it for inks and paints, and then of course if you're using your paints with a lot of mixed media, you can replace it with the new Distress Paint flip top caps.